What's up, everybody? It's your boy Devon Taylor here, aka Deezus, and this is my podcast, Deezus Take the Reel. No, this is not a religious podcast. It's a podcast where we're talking movies, we're talking life, we're talking all sorts of crazy shit. And on this episode, somebody has come to talk a bunch of shit. And I'm super excited for it. For once, I'm on the other end of it, because usually I'm the hater in a conversation. I instigate the hate. I like to nitpick. And I'm on the defensive here, actually. I'm really excited for this episode. We're doing something a little bit different here. Because of the circumstances. So first of all, we have a returning guest. It's Jason Lord.
How's it going? Good.
Yeah. So you're really excited for this.
I'm really excited because you find yourself in the crosshairs because you're that one person who is not, you appreciate the source material, but you're not part of the ultra bandwagon that everyone else is. So I feel like I've gotten I've been able to talk to some old estranged friends a little bit. Yeah,
this is gonna be a lot of fun. So to give you background real quick, so originally I had one episode planned out. I gotta share my pod struggles with you guys. So I had I record episodes in advance usually, or I plan them out for the month, and I had an episode for this week, and I go to open it up the other day to go edit it. It's not there. And I'm like, where is it? And then I remembered, oh yeah, there was a time, so during the live recording, I was panicking because we were already running late, and then we go to start recording, and my recorder's full. It's full, and I'm like, shit. And I was trying to, on the fly, remember, what I've already put on my external hard drive. I was like, I'm pretty sure I've copied over everything that I need. So I just said, fuck it, and I deleted them.
Yeah.
I deleted the last episode we recorded because me and Jason recorded an episode that I was going to have for in case that I deleted an episode. So the episode that was originally supposed to come out this week, deleted. Backup episode, also deleted.
That shit happens, man. You gotta stock up on SD cards. That's what you gotta do.
My external hard drive's got a terabyte on it. So I mean, all it was because once I do a few recordings, I'll transfer them over and put them away in the folder, so that way I can keep the memory card on the recorder full. I thought I'd transfer it over. I didn't. So you live and you learn.
Well, hey, I got to be honest. I feel like I'm going to enjoy this one more.
I think so too.
Than the one that we originally did.
We did have a good conversation. We had a nice little conversation about Kubo and the Two Strings
and Coraline.
We did have a good conversation about it, but this is going to be a lot of fun.
Tops.
We're doing something, it's just a teensy bit different for this episode. So, a movie came out last week.
A movie? What movie?
A very big movie. This has been a much anticipated movie for a lot of people. It was the 2017 live-action Power Rangers movie.
Ouch.
It happened, and a lot of people didn't know if they wanted this movie to happen or not. They're like, do we need it? Who's actually wanting this movie? Okay, maybe they can put a modern twist on it. And then the trailer came out, and people liked the trailers. They're like, okay, this is kind of interesting. We could get this weird chronicle coming of age. It looked like a Power Rangers movie.
Yeah.
And I will say, I think that's the one thing we can agree on. This was a Power Rangers movie.
It was a honorable attempt. I think we can agree, at least that much.
So, and it hit theaters last weekend. And to many people, it was a surprise. It was a nice little pleasant surprise. Not that it was blowing people's minds or anything, but people are like, hey, this is actually pretty good. And I was one of them. I've been a big Power Rangers fan my entire life. I grew up I watched Power Rangers for possibly too long.
Yeah.
I watched it up through third grade. I'm pretty sure I hit the peak limit of when I'm supposed to be able to watch Power Rangers.
Yeah. Well, I agree. In the same vein, when I was young, I watched Power Rangers too. Let me preface, I'm not just some random nobody who doesn't know anything about Power Rangers. I do. I'm not a fanatic. I've only ever watched the Mighty Morphin series because that's the first one they ever came out with. And it's not like just because you don't watch it, you're not missing out, because I'm pretty sure the original Power Rangers, I actually did some research and it inspired me, this movie, to look up into more. And I didn't realize how long of a running series just that first one was. I believe
it was 96 episodes.
There's 2 seasons, and between them there's 40 something episodes. Yeah. So Yeah.
I didn't realize that either. And something that I really appreciated. So I was killing some time before I went and saw it. And so I was like, oh, I'll just turn it on Netflix, have it on the background. And I started with the beginning because I was like, man, I can't remember the pilot episode.
Yeah.
This movie is the pilot episode.
Right. So it's my thing
that really
is,
surprised me. Like it is the pilot episode just extended.
Yeah. My thing that I could appreciate about it, I think we can agree on, as far as not just movie standards, but just trying to work with source material like some reboots try to do. It doesn't escape the horrible necessity of having to retell the origin story, because I know a lot of people have problems with that when it comes to movies, because if you have rabid fans who are like, I know what the story is, just to give me the cinema version. It didn't feel like one of those ones where it's like, when Simpsons came out, they made the joke, it's like, why would I want to see a Simpsons movie when I can just watch it on TV? It didn't feel like that with this one. It actually felt like they tried to give it some life.
They wanted to take the Power Rangers, they wanted to take the story, and they made it cinematic. It wasn't just take the TV show and put it on
wasn't
screen.
A single Power Rangers episode built into a movie like the original ones, like from the 90s that came out, which were essentially that.
Yeah, and so we have varying degrees of opinions on this.
Oh, we do.
And so we're gonna get into here in a sec, because we are going to play this game real quick before we get into. So what we're going to do for this episode is, because, obviously we usually pick two movies and we talk about these movies. And I mean, we're going to talk about Mighty Morphin Power Rangers a lot too, I assume. So, I mean, I guess that would count as the second movie.
Yeah.
But it's all about the Power Rangers, guys. It's all about the Power Rangers. So Jason created a list on Twitter.
Oh, yeah.
Of 32 things.
I think it's 33.
33 problems he had with the movie.
Initially, I haven't stewed as long. Like that one day when I stepped. So me and my fiance Em saw it. I was going to see it when I've moved over to Texas, and I was planning on seeing it, but I have to come back to like tie up some loose ends while I'm here. So we had free time. We went and saw it. It was just like, hey, let's go see the movie and see how we feel. And what I can just honestly say is,
don't read any of them yet.
What I can say is the stream of tweets that came out from me after seeing this movie. I was joking with Devon here, but for some reason, talking about a Power Rangers movie on Twitter, it gets you in touch with some old friends of yours that you haven't talked to in a while to try and tell you that you don't know what you're talking about.
The power of nostalgia, But
you might say the Power Ranges, a very large.
It was almost there.
Yeah,
you had a good foundation there.
I tried.
I give you solid points for the attempt on that one. But and so Jason got passion thumbs.
Oh,
he got passion thumbs.
Oh yeah.
And then, so he comes, well, actually, first Emily comes in to work the other day. And then
you can't blame me for what she says.
She really did really antagonize most of this, because she's the one that brought it up. She goes, hey, did you see the Power Rangers movie? And I was like, yes, I did. And she goes, yeah, it was fucking stupid, right? And I was like, no. And then that's what started. We literally went back and forth about it the entire work shift.
I wish I could have seen it. I bet you had like smoke coming out of your ears.
And then Jason comes in today, and then they're both antagonizing me in front of the cute bar rep. At that, thanks for making me look bad. She was like, this guy's fucking getting all excited about Power Rangers. Fucking nerd.
You don't know. She's probably thinking the same thing at the bar. It's like, I don't know how I feel about it. I haven't seen it yet.
I don't know. But so Jason's going to give us these tweets, and we're going to talk about them. I'm going to try and refute some of them, or maybe change his mind, or sway him on certain things. I don't know. But before we get into that, we're going to play a game, as we always do on Deezus Take the Reel. Mm-hmm. I came up with this one, as usual, 10 minutes before we started recording. And no, this is really funny because so Power Rangers is known for its ridiculous action scenes. I'm talking the TV show here. It's cheesy fighting. You have cheesy robots. You have them spouting lines and doing unnecessary cartwheels. It's all great. And it's also known for its ridiculous Monster of the Week. Like, I mean, Power Rangers kind of perfected this Monster of the Week formula that we have in a lot of TV shows now. I mean, The Flash is even still doing Monster of the Week to this day.
Yeah.
So I give Power Rangers credit for that. So they have some, interesting monsters. And of course, these monsters have some interesting names. There's another movie that I found that also has some very interesting names. And they're almost undistinguishable.
Really?
It's hard to tell. It's Lord of the Rings.
Oh my gosh.
I noticed that some of the names of the monsters of the Power Rangers and of Lord of the Rings are eerily similar.
Yeah.
So I have 10 of them. I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna say the name, and then you're gonna guess
if it's Power Rangers.
It says Power Rangers.
This is doubly fun because not only am I a Power Rangers fan, but I wouldn't say I'm not a Lord of the Rings fan. I'm just a complete ignorant person when it comes to Lord of the Rings. Haven't seen the movies, haven't read the books.
And I assure you're probably still gonna have a hard time with this.
All right, let's do it.
Okay, first one up. Elrond.
That sounds Lord of the Rings. That sounds very elfy.
That is correct.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Next
So
up.
here's the thing. One thing I can probably get away with is since I used to work for Lego, so we obviously sell Lord of the Rings sets. So some of the names I am familiar with, but if it's like monster stuff, I might not, so we'll see.
All right, 1 for 1. Starting off strong. Next up. Nazgul.
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 It sounds exotic. I'm going to say Lord of the Rings.
It is also Lord of the Rings.
All right. Yeah.
2 for 2.
Nice.
All right. Next one up. Armadevil.
Is that like 2 words or is it just one?
It's one word.
Armadevil?
Armadevil.
I'm going to say Power Rangers.
It is Power Rangers. I'll say I think that one's a giveaway because I feel like it had something to do with an armadillo. I bet you it was a Power Rangers villain.
It sounded gimmicky.
Kinda.
Yeah, because all the monsters had some kind of gimmick, with.
All right, so you're 3 for 3. I hope I trip you up at least. I thought I came up with some really good ones here. Okay, next one. Draggle.
That's tough.
Draggle. Or Droggle.
Droggle.
Possibly.
Let's say Lord of the Rings.
That is wrong. It is Power Rangers.
Is it a dragon monster? Or is it?
I don't know. I should have kept the website up. There's a database for the Power Rangers monsters.
Because I remember because you got to give Japan credit with some of those costumes. Some of
them are so ridiculous. Some of them have like some really weird gimmicks and stuff. Like, they were always great. Okay, next one up is either Natu or Natu. It has a silent G at the beginning.
Ganatu?
Or it could be Ganatu.
Lord of the Rings.
Wrong. That is Power Rangers.
It's Power Rangers.
That is that one definitely sounds like it would be a Lord of the Rings thing.
It does because why would you put in like the extra inflection? Kids don't care about that kind of stuff. Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
Okay, next one up. Radagast.
That sounds like
a Pokemon.
That's got to be Power Rangers, right?
No,
it's not.
That one is Lord of the Rings. All right, so you are 3 for 6 right now.
Jesus,
started off strong and you are slipping.
I've already lost technically. Yeah.
Okay, next one up. Next one up. Jindrax. Jindrax, with a J, not a G.
I'm gonna say Power Rangers just because there's an X in there in the end.
That is correct.
Because that's a
worthy assumption.
That sounds pretty hardcore 90s, like cool Jindrax.
I made sure I didn't pick any with Z because I felt like that would have been a dead giveaway. If it had a Z in it, because there's no Z's in Lord of the Rings, unless Lord of the Rings. All right, next one up, Baragond. Baragond.
Is that Lord of the Rings?
That is Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
He's back on the positive side.
I'm hearing like the differences in like the names kind of. So
we got 2 more here. This next one, Erkenbrand.
Erkenbrand. Oh, dude. I'm gonna say Power Rangers.
That is wrong. It is Lord of the Rings, and I see a trend that I don't think you've picked up on, but I'll say it at the end. And the very last one, Weldo.
Weldo. Wait a minute. I think I know that character, though. He's like, isn't he one of like the main henchmen from Power Rangers? I think it's Power Rangers.
it is Power Rangers. I don't know if he was a main henchman, but he is from Power Rangers.
That sounds very henchman-y.
So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 out of 10.
Wow.
So I mean, you get a passing grade.
Okay.
You didn't fail, but you got by the skin of your teeth.
Yeah.
A trend that I noticed where if it ended with the ND, then it was a Lord of the Rings.
Elrond.
Baragond, Erkenbrand, Elrond.
Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, it's just some kind of elvish kind of.
Yeah.
See, the thing is, I'm like one of those people who's only ever seen like the first 15, 20 minutes of Lord of the Rings. So once they get to the, you have my sword and my axe and my bow, and then the, I think the furthest I remember is Frodo getting stabbed by a troll in a cave. And then that's all I can remember.
I've seen the first 3 and I've seen them all once a piece, I'm pretty sure.
How many times does Frodo get stabbed?
A lot.
I feel bad for the guy.
Frodo takes a beating for no reason.
He takes a step. He's a shoo-in for Lord of the Rings, penitentiary jail. Like, people going to shiv him. He's going to be fine. He's going to be okay.
He's getting shivved all over the place.
He's built up an immunity. Like,
yeah. All right, and before we get into the bulk of the show and get more into the nitty-gritty of Power Rangers, just a few housekeeping things. First of all, make sure you go support the channel on Patreon, guys. Just $1 a month can help make the show bigger and better. If you get into the $5 or $10 tiers, you get some perks like a monthly Skype session with me, you get some bonus content, and I want to give you guys more stuff. It'll most likely be some more Deezus and T money if you want to hear a little bit more of that, because that's only every other week. If we get more patrons, maybe that could become a weekly thing. Who knows, guys? You should definitely check out patreon.com/Deezus Take the Reel and help a brother out. I'd really enjoy that. You guys are the best. And, of course, another big thing that will help the show, guys, is these iTunes reviews. iTunes reviews, 5 stars, write some nice words. If you give it a 5 stars and write some nice words, I'll say those words on the air. I will include it on another episode. Again, I usually read these on Deezus and T Money. If you want your iTunes reviews, guys, I need the validation. Not gonna lie, I do. I want to feel like I'm good at this, but no, for real, guys. Getting those 5-star reviews can really help get the word out on the show. Make sure you are sharing the show on Twitter and all that good shit. Make sure just spread the dope word, guys. That's all you need to do. Just spread the dope word. Anyways, let's go back into the bulk of the show.
Oh Jesus,
we're gonna talk Power Rangers, guys. So like I said, Jason has a list.
I have a list.
So this is new. So first of all, does your list spoil the
I was
new Power
about
Rangers
to say,
movie?
unfortunately, there are some things.
That's okay. I don't give a shit.
I figured,
spoil most movies on this
figure,
podcast.
yeah, just maybe if you do spoiler warnings or not. But I will say, even when the promotional photos for this movie came out, I was cracking jokes and like having my way. I remember when it first came out, I cracked a joke on Twitter that was basically Power Rangers. They came out with that promo image of them all standing in the armor, and I'm just like, oh look, it's Rainbow Iron Man's. It's gonna be great,
So you heard it though, guys. This is going to be spoilers. Sorry about you. If you haven't seen the Power Rangers movie, stop listening right now. Go see Power Rangers because it's at least worth the watch. I will say that.
It's worth the experience.
It's worth the experience.
Yeah. I would never turn anyone away from the film. I wouldn't.
Yes.
Yeah.
Go on a cheap night. Go on Tuesday. Get your $5 ticket and go see it then.
And then make your own list.
And then come back. And yeah, make your own list and then come back. But here we go. We're getting into spoilers. Let's go ahead and get into it. So what was the tweet that started it all?
Okay,
the tweet heard around the internet.
The tweet supposedly, now I don't get a whole lot of traffic on Twitter because I'm very formal with friends. So they talk to me directly because that's how. So I got tons of text messages. But I left the theater and I just started with a fairly polite tweet out to audience, which was, "Yo, real talk. I'm really sad to say." Power Rangers movie was a hot sack of garbage. Straight up. Worse than Storks. It's morphine time. As in, I need morphine to help me. Morphine time, yeah.
Oh, that's rough.
And then I followed it up by at least giving B&B Theaters some credit. I said, one positive thing I can say about Power Rangers movie is that our popcorn tasted really good. Props to B&B Theaters for good snacks.
Oh, so you were out in the one in
Ozark. Yeah,
that's a nice theater. I do like that theater.
And then once me and Em had a chance to sit down and chill, I just had all these, not so much gripes, but just questions in terms of movie continuity. So far I've looked.
Well, before we get into it, because I mean we got where the start is. So what initially got this conversation going was because I was talking to Jason about Life, another movie that I feel like people are
unjustly
without
actually seeing it first. They're just forming baseless
people
opinions.
Are saying unjustly things about Life. They're being very hard on the movie, I think, and I think people are being a little hard on Power Rangers too, because the initial buzz was pretty good, but now, because it is one of those movies, the more you talk about it out loud, the more you realize how bad it is.
Yeah.
So it's like I try not to, but I still think that I have a way to defend this movie, because I mean, you got to think what all can you need from a Power Rangers movie? I told you before we started recording the show, like my checklist for the Power Rangers movie is very short compared to what I'm looking for in an Oscar movie. I'm not saying that just because it's Power Rangers, I can accept a shitty movie, because no, I mean.
Well, my thing is, I don't have a checklist when I go see these movies. I would say it's more so when I know there's a source material, I initially, like, this scale appears in my brain while I'm watching, which on one side, it's the merits and worth of the actual cinematography that's going on in the movie, right? And then you have the source material on one side. And with these movies, at some point, one of those things starts outweighing the other one. So with the Power Rangers movie, it's like, I know Power Rangers, but as watching this movie as a movie with how it's being told to me, that sort of outweighed the whole Power Rangers part of it. So more of my gripes are just continuity, not so much I'm a gigantic Power Rangers fan, you didn't do it the way I wanted you to.
Yeah.
There are a couple comments that I think are in line with that, but I think they err more on the side of I like to think of myself as a competent moviegoer, and there are just some things I'm just like, well, that could have been handled a little bit better, or
Yeah. And I agree. Like this movie is heavily flawed. It is a hot mess.
Oh yeah.
But I will say emphasis on the hot part, because I think it's a fun movie. And whenever I compare movies, or whenever I score them, so on my Letterboxd, I gave it a 3 out of 5 stars.
Mm-hmm.
That would translate to a 6 out of 10, somewhere in that range, 6 to 7 out of 10. And would I say, by film standards, does it deserve that score? No. But at the same time, I also factor in, theater going experience.
Yeah.
Like, my enjoyment, did I have fun watching this movie?
That's what I mean. Like, I wouldn't turn people away because it's a cool experience. I mean, one thing I can appreciate a movie like Saban's Power Rangers is that they're not afraid to be a Power Rangers movie. Like, the simple fact that they put in, or at least tried to put in, the original theme song just because it was the fucking theme song, I was like, yeah, I'm on board with that.
It came out of nowhere,
right? And
I started laughing.
I was very appreciative of the attempt, but my thing is that, like, yeah, I can understand they are completely unabashed about the fact that, yeah, this is Power Rangers whether you like it or not.
Yeah, not even just that though. And I talk about this on the show a lot. I talk about this on Twitter a lot whenever I talk to people about movies. I respect ambitious movies. Like, even if it doesn't always work out, if you're trying things and you're trying to put something out there and you're trying to do something new or do something cool, like, if you're being ambitious, I will respect you for it. You get points, you get respect points from you there, even if it doesn't work. And I'll say, like, this movie did not play it safe. They could have easily played it safe and drawn up a very campy, by the numbers, more closer to the TV show.
Yeah.
They could have did that, and that still would have been serviceable, because people, the fans of the show, have been like, it's just like the show, and they would have enjoyed it. So they could have gotten away with that, but they didn't. They wanted to still give you Power Rangers. They wanted to give it a modern take. A lot of people say, comparing it to Chronicle. I like that. Like, I think that it did kind of have this sci-fi horror element at times to it. So I think I appreciate, like, not every choice they made worked, but they tried things.
One thing I've heard, the comment I hear the most that people attribute to the movie itself, regardless if it's Power Rangers not being good, people say it took itself way too seriously. Do you agree with that?
No.
Okay.
Because I think even though the humor its success rate is about 60-40 in this movie. I think the humor that they did use, though, and the tone that they went for in this movie, yeah, it is kind of gritty. They do play up the teen drama at times, but at the same point, this movie is really funny. I think it is really funny. There's
Billy's the best character, by the way. Billy was the standout character of the whole movie.
So not only from that, I think the tone worked for the movie. I think it was a good balance. And the thing that impressed me the most was the camera work. Like, they had some really ambitious camera work in this movie. From the opening scene, they have the rotating camera in the car. That was something really interesting. Every time they would go through the water in the cave, and they would have the music and the slow motion. Especially the first time, you see Billy sees his dad and he's reaching out, and then they all see things in their lives. I thought that was fucking cool. It's so cool, and they reaches through, and then they all fall through the water. I think that's a fucking badass scene.
Oh, hell
and
yeah.
That's something. And there's a few really cool scenes like that I wouldn't have seen coming from Power Rangers movies. So I want to give it kudos there.
Yeah, I agree with you completely, but I'm also disappointed by the fact that it just stinks when you get to one of those movies where you see little glimpses oh man, that was so cool. Why couldn't that have been the thought process for it's not very congruent when you go from event to event to event to event in terms of I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, but the actual effect that it has on you as a movie.
Yeah.
So that affected you in a way. The idea that they're reflecting on themselves kind of thing. It's like them passing through into this sort of new kind of it was basically a metaphor for adolescence. I think it's we're passing into maturity kind
I think
of thing.
the coming of age theme really worked I think that play worked out in the film.
But for every one good moment like that one, there were maybe 2 or 3 ones where it's just oh, come on, guys.
Okay, so we kind of have our basis of where we stand on the film. So let's go ahead and let's dive into these tweets. So, some of them are just observations that Jason had.
Yeah.
Some of them are just, just things to put out there. But some of them, we're gonna talk about them a little bit. We're gonna dive into
some
it.
Carry more weight than others. So here we go. So there are 33 of these I've had so far since we started this podcast. So here's the first one. I basically said, I will now rattle off some things that made no sense to me or my fiance Emily during the Power Rangers movie. In no particular chronological order. Number 1, at some point in the middle of the film, Rita Repulsa attempts to kill one of the Power Rangers. That's Billy. She drops him into the water. First comment was number 1, no CPR attempt on Billy. Smart? ?
Yep. No, I agree there. I thought that the entire time. I was like, this is a really half-assed death, fake out death, because they didn't even try CPR.
Yeah.
So agree there.
Number 2, this is kind of a can of worms. You can just give a slight synopsis on it. But number 2, how is 2 hours and 4 minutes not enough time to establish character growth? I forgot Black Ranger was there half the time.
Okay, so it's hard with a movie with 5 characters to get growth. Their growth, I think they all did have growth to varying lengths of who grew. I think throughout the movie, Jason has the most growth, I think, overall, followed by Billy and then Kimberly. And then, the Yellow Ranger and the Black Ranger both got the short end of the stick a good amount of the time. And I will say he might not have had growth, but I think that we do get an explanation on why he is the way he is, why he's kind of the wild, crazy one, and he's skipping school because, he's already going to be missing out on his mother and stuff, so he's just kind of, that's the time when he can go be crazy because she thinks he's at school, and he doesn't have to have the responsibility of taking care of her.
Yeah.
So I don't think, but at the same time, is there any growth from him?
I think
really, but I
honestly,
think you do get a little background though, and it was very brief.
I think I used the word growth. It's Twitter, so I think I could have used a better word for that. But that's how I felt. I felt like I had no connection to some of those characters whatsoever, and it's supposed to be about the Power Rangers.
Yeah, and with Zach's character and with Trini, because with Trini, they hyped up the, she's gonna be the first lesbian Power Ranger.
Yeah.
They never even confirmed that. They
just kind of insinuated.
They insinuated, and then they never followed up on it.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a lot of cool things they could have done with it, and they didn't. Yep. I think there was one thing that was implied that I don't think a lot of people are catching, but I think could have been implied. I'm reaching here. I'm definitely reaching, but there was two scenes. It happened twice where Kim would literally look at Trini as if they've had some sort of past history, and Kim would just go, "I'm sorry."
Mm-hmm.
And I remember I was like, "Sorry for what?" Like it's there, out of nowhere. And I was like,
Kimberly is part of this list too. So
And I feel like they, with Kimberly's whole backstory with the pictures and stuff, it could have been Trini, and they could have tied that in maybe, and had them at odds or something, or they could have had some, they're getting close as friends, and Trini's like having a crush on Kimberly or something.
I could see that.
I think that would have been the more natural way to lean into it. But yeah, Jason has a good amount of growth. The rest of them, it's hard.
My gripe is the payoff. It's the payoff. It's we can both agree that
where did they start and then where did they end?
It's like that's what I mean when you have a 2-hour movie where we will both agree that only a fraction of that movie was the actual payoff of here are the Power Rangers doing Power Ranger things with Zords and stuff, and they had all that time.
And ironically, that's the weakest part of the movie,
right? And they had all that time to set it up. And here's me feeling like I feel like I should have a stronger connection with these characters, yet I don't. Like that's what I mean when I say like, yeah, it's Power Rangers. Who's the Black Ranger again? Why is he doing what he's doing? Why is he simultaneous?
Why was he I want to know why he was. I mean, I guess he was chosen because he does have a heart to take over his mother. Why was Trini chosen to be a
I don't
Ranger?
know. And even with the Black Ranger too, he's kind of contradictory in that he's like they have the campfire scene where they're confessing things like, and I don't go home because I'm scared that my mom might be there. But the insinuation is that he's spending all this time by the bedside with his mom. So what is it? Is he conflicted? Like he's in the junkyard hanging out, but he's also they pretty much established that he's taking care of his mother the most he can. So yeah. I'm just that's what I mean. Like I have no idea how I'm supposed to feel about this character.
So. I think we found a little middle ground that one. So let's go on.
Number 3. Could you even tell the Black Ranger Zord was supposed to be a mastodon? Me neither. Oh, by the way, here are these Zords just chilling in the basement.
Why did they have to make the mastodon have 6 legs? They did with the Blue Ranger one too.
Right.
Why because it's a robot, they have to give it 6 legs?
That's the thing. That's the one part that I hate, where it's just like, this is supposed to be a movie for anybody, even if you haven't seen Power Rangers. But with that specific thing, they expected you to already know, hey, here's the Zords. You kind of know what the Zords are, right? You know that one's supposed to be a Tyrannosaurus Rex, right? You watched the show.
I did like the first scene when Zach goes on his little joyride.
Oh,
I
sure.
I thought that was a fun scene. But like I just said like a minute ago, the actual Power Rangers parts of the movie are kind of the weakest parts, especially towards the end.
That's one of those like small gripes that I mean, like that's like a Power Rangers fan supposed to be an elephant kind of thing. But like, if you weren't even a Power Rangers fan, what the fuck was that thing even?
And to just to talk about the Zords for a second, my problem with the Zords and the suits, we might get in, we'll save the suit talk for later, but it's just like I have the similar problem with the Zords is, one, the Zords just look like these piles of metal moving.
Transformers. It looks like Michael Bay Transformers.
Like Transformers. Yeah. They also didn't they didn't make the colors more distinct from each other. Well, the blue and the black look exactly the same.
And just the shitty way because that's an integral part of Power Rangers.
It's the colors.
It's not just that, but it's just you have the Power Rangers and the Power Rangers have Zords. That's pretty much all you need to know about Power Rangers, and that the Zords come together to make a giant robot. The way they introduced them in such a way like, you, audience member, you already know what these things are, but we're just here to remind you, to assure you that, yes, they are in this movie.
They even tried giving them, like, they took the form of the apex predator of that blah, 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 and I'm like, shut up.
Yeah.
They're robots.
That's dumb.
They're robots.
That's dumb. That was dumb.
They try to, like, make them alive.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Next one.
Number 4. This is one of my favorites. Quote, pretty sure we're super strong, unquote. Oh, by the way, the 3 of you helped me lift this average weight unconscious teenager, too heavy for Pink Ranger, after Billy has been supposedly killed. Guys, help me lift Billy, even though we're super strong. I know symbolically the rest of us have to carry him, but help me lift him, you know?
So, okay, so I will say, especially with sci-fi films, and this, I mean, kind of is a sci-fi film in a way, but no, I agree to the sentiment of ignoring, like, you can ignore logic in certain situations in a movie, and I'm okay with it, you know? I'll just say kind of whatever.
You can't spend a whole scene showing them.
But you can't ignore the logic just so you can get a cheap, oh, hey, look, they're coming together and carrying him by himself to show that they're together now. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's a cheap way but to disregard the logic. So I'll give you that one as well.
That's just one, okay. Number 5, this is kind of petty, but let me know what you think. Let's give the giant gold monster wings and then not have him fly at any point. Walking would be more dramatic and cool. I know it's Goldar, I get it, but why the fuck do you give him wings if he's not going to fly?
I don't like what they did with Goldar in the beginning, in the first place anyways, because Goldar, like, has a personality and can talk and shit. He has a lion face.
Oh, Rangers kind of thing.
Goldar has a fucking lion face, and we didn't get that in this movie. We got a faceless blob.
I would have taken Goldar over Rita. Like, if Goldar was the main bad guy, but Rita was also there, but like Goldar was, if the two of them were there and Goldar was not.
Well, in the show, Rita still is the
you know what I mean,
head bitch.
I appreciate what they tried to do to make Goldar modern, but it's just I just think they
give us the fucking lion face.
Yeah, so
that's what I want. I want the black lion face on a gold robot thing.
Okay, yeah. So that was just one. Here's a good one. A good opinion from you. Number 6, Kimberly is filled with guilt. Jason tries to console her. Jason tells her, quote, just because you do terrible things doesn't make you a terrible person, unquote. Yes, it does make you a terrible person.
Okay, this is a social quip here, because I mean that's such an age-long question.
I'm talking specifically in the context of what the movie has showed us, because they did not, remember, Kimberly was the only one at the campfire scene who did not share. She spoke with Jason, but in the context of what she did and what she's guilty about, I don't think she comes out in the right.
Watching the movie, I was just kind of like, okay, I can see why she feels guilty, blah, blah, blah. But I was just kind of like, okay, yeah, whatever. And then I was watching a YouTube video, I can't remember what, but they broke down like what she exactly did, and like hearing it out loud, or no, it was a podcast. It was Only Stupid Answers. They literally said out loud like the string of events of what Kimberly did, and I was like, damn, she is a real shitty fucking person.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. The funny thing,
she's real shitty.
Aside from Billy, M made the point that she didn't like it because she thought all the Power Rangers were assholes.
Okay, I do disagree with that, because the main mantra, and you know this, is Power Rangers. He wants teenagers with attitude.
Attitude, yeah. I think attitude could be categorized differently. He wants
teenagers with attitude. I would say that applies for all of them, except for Kimberly is just a straight up bitch. Mm-hmm. She actually is. Yeah. And Billy does not have attitude. But he's the pure one. So right. I mean, I guess that's why.
Billy was the exception, but like the rest of them just seemed like just a bunch of. She just said they were assholes is what she thought. You know, she was confused.
I give Jason's motivations. I really like what they did with his character. Yeah. I think Jason was a very one-dimensional character on the show.
I'm getting to Jason in a second. So,
you know, he was a leader, and then that was about it. But then he was not the leader, because then Tommy said, no, I'm the leader. Mm-hmm. He said, Jason, look at me, I'm the captain now. That's what Tommy said.
You look at me.
But no, I like his motivations on, you know, he's.
Well, we'll get to that. I have one for him.
Okay,
so
we'll save it then.
We'll move on. But that's one thing that struck out to me with Kimberly. It's just like, you missed an opportunity there, guys. It's just, you can't have her not reveal herself at the campfire, because that would have helped clarify that situation, at least put us on her side more. But just the way it was presented in the movie, it's just like, okay, so you're just another shitty female teenager. Okay, cool. Number 7, this one's just a basic movie thing. Quote, now that the Rangers know where I am going, I will release them from my inescapable boat trap, unquote. Rita Repulsa, smartest villain ever.
Well, Rita was just doing it for the gigs. Like, her villain, like M asked me, like, she was like, what was Rita's plan? What were her motivations? I was like, she didn't have any.
She's a joker.
Her thing was she went crazy.
She's crazy, yeah.
She went crazy, and that was that. So, yeah, I think she let him go just because of that. It's the classic villain thing of, I want the challenge, so that's
kind of a gripe. Here's a good one. Number 8. Why was that homeless guy tied up at the dock? Who is he? Rita kills the dude. Rangers are completely unshaken. But wait, Billy, no.
I don't know who he is. I think he was just like the caretaker of the dock.
But why was he there? Why did she need to tie him up, use him as bait?
He was there to guard the shit.
He was tied up. That's the thing. That's just one of those things. It's just so innocuous. Just
I don't know who he is.
Didn't need to be there, but he was there, I guess. And she kills him, and they completely unfazed by it.
Did she kill him?
I'm assuming she jumped from the ceiling, slammed him into the floor, and we don't see him ever again.
I mean,
so just.
We'll say it's ambiguous.
Ambiguous, yeah. Number 9, Angel Grove is a low-income town with a literal gold mine.
I mean, did they know? Did they know?
Yeah.
Angel Grove knew.
They had to. You don't make a gold mine and not know.
Well, I mean, they didn't make a gold mine. It's just like a construction site,
It just seemed to not make sense. Well, I mean, somebody found it. I mean, let's be honest. If Rita's going to walk out and just summon gold from the ground.
Somebody's got to know about it. But, I mean, I just think the whole thing was pointless on her going around killing people to collect gold.
When she could have just,
She could have just went to the gold mine.
Here's a good one for the night. Number 10, okay? Remember how the Rangers crashed Billy's van and then inexplicably returned without explanation? No, seriously, they don't explain that in the movie. Which, M, being a writer, she cannot, her brain broke at that moment. She left the theater like, why the fuck did they not explain that? She calls it lazy is what she calls it.
Yes.
Lazy writing.
And this is the one that M really got me going today.
Lazy writing is what she calls it.
She got me going.
What do you call it?
I disagree wholeheartedly with her because it worked perfectly. That's what that whole scene was. So yeah, they get fucking smashed by this van, and then they all wake up but it was to put an emphasis on how strange the situation was, on just to be like, what the fuck is going on right now? Because I like that they gave it this kind of sci-fi horrific element to it. This movie had shades of a horror movie to it because they're dealing with these changes going on. They don't know what it is. They don't know if it's because at this point they don't know if what's happening to them is dangerous or not. They don't know that they're becoming superheroes or becoming Power Rangers. They're just like, what the fuck is going on right now? And I like that. And my question to Em was, and she never really gave me a straight answer, was I go, if they took 5 minutes out of this movie to explain it, or 2 minutes out of this movie to explain it, and they explain how they got back and whatnot, would it change anything plot-wise, narratively about the film? And it would not. It would not change the film. It wouldn't enhance your viewing experience if I go, they got hit by the van and then they teleported into their bedrooms, or the suits protected them and then flew them to their houses.
I think that
would have been stupid.
I think that falls under whether or not you think that movie has any. Like I said, my whole gripes are continuity-wise. So if you think a movie has that kind of, like you say, does it matter? No, it doesn't. But it's just it feels weird when you're watching the movie and you want to be invested in it because it's Power Rangers, right? So you want to be able to understand the story that's being told, and you want to know what the details are, because the details are what matter in those movies, especially with something like Power Rangers. If you're not a Power Rangers fan, how did they get out of the van? Let me ask you, since they didn't explain it, what would your explanation be? Because they clearly didn't give us one in the movie. Because at no point did the Power Rangers ever actually teleport in that movie. So I don't know if that's a plausible explanation or not. So it's not an established thing. So they in no way gave us any way to interpret how that could have been explained. I think is what got under her skin. Is she's fine if there was some kind of prerequisite that set her up for that. It's like, I don't need to really know because I know they're capable of these things. But that was before any of that. They just jumped straight from that, and they made the scene so dramatic too. That's the thing that bugged her so much. When the train hits the van, it's a slow-mo. It's a very dramatic slow-mo, and you're expecting something like, okay, this is gonna pivot the whole story, and we're gonna learn something important about them. But instead, they just wake up in their rooms and nothing happened.
Again, I'm trying to come up with what my plausible explanation would be of it is, and the closest I'm coming up with is they get hit by the car, they're knocked unconscious. While they're unconscious, their suits activate. And then
I would like to think that secretly they just all got up out of the van. It's like, whoa, that was fucking weird, right? And they just walk home.
If they would have went closer to the TV show, in the TV show, the Zord base or whatever they call it, the Ranger base, they can teleport, like, and
can they, or is that Zordon bringing them there?
Well, in the show, it's the energy from the ranger station, and then Billy makes the watches that can teleport them.
Okay.
They don't do that in the movie. In the movie, they just swim through the cave every single time, I assume.
Okay.
So yeah, I guess
maybe
I don't have a plausible explanation, but at the same time, if I knew what my plausible explanation was, or if they attempted to give me an explanation and not been good, then we would have complained about that. So I'm okay with not knowing. I think that's
my thing. I don't have any gripes, but partly why I find this fun is because Em had such a problem with it. Like, that's the kind of crap that just gets under her skin, and I love it. So that's near and far from the point. The next tweet is in line with that. Number 11. Apparently, Billy's mom owns a bunch of these vans because it's never brought up again. They even drive past the busted car and nobody bats an eye to the situation.
I thought that was really funny that they just drove by the van. And it was just like,
there's no like,
and they're like, okay, so that the van is smashed.
Well,
I thought that was just kind of funny.
Well, there's no heightened security and no one, the place isn't on lockdown, you know, like you'd think they'd be searching for bodies or something, but that's just a funny thing I noticed.
I thought it was just kind of funny too.
Number 12, Jason's dad is the deadliest catch-style fisherman, risking his life every day for family. Jason says, "You don't understand or care about me."
Yeah.
Maybe Jason, not that. Maybe Jason, not the "you don't care about me," but the attitude is kind of there.
Jason is a dick to. He is classic dick to his dad.
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, but at the same time, like I said,
there's some squeeze room there. There is.
I really do. I sympathize with Jason in the movie. Like I think that they did give him a really interesting background. I dig it. Like the wash, he's not the star athlete anymore because he got the knee injury, and he doesn't know what he's going to do now because he was banking on sports. His dad was banking on sports.
Wait, did he already have the knee injury, or did the knee injury come after he crashed the car? I don't think he had a knee injury. Here, let me move to the next tweet, and that'll explain something.
That's a good question.
Here, so number 13 is, Jason says, paraphrasing, "We're all screw-ups. No, Jason is a star quarterback who did stupid shit for no reason. He's not a screw-up. He's just an asshole." What do you think of that?
I mean, yeah, I think it is a really dumb prank. I've never understood in movies and TV shows that, let's go steal the other team's mascot.
Which falls in line with the talk in the car. It's like, you don't understand me. It's like, nobody fucking understands you. How can you be the star quarterback and then do some stupid shit like they have?
Doesn't like the second string running back do that shit?
Yeah.
Like, not the starters. But I did like the stupid dick joke at the beginning.
I have that in here. That's part of here too. So it's we're on the same length though. So here's 14 is a gripe that I have. But I wrote number 14, stellar writing here. If you dare see this movie again, count how many times any exposition begins with the word guys or the phrase "hey guys."
Yes, I'll give you that one. I think that is just kind of a general exposition starter.
Now, let me be fair. I don't know how concrete the script writing was on set. They may have let them ad-lib, and I feel like teenagers have a propensity to say guys, but I hate anybody who consistently does that. It's like YouTube videos when people open up, they're just like, "Hey guys." It's like, it's so gay, so horrible. So as far as the writing, it sucks because one of my favorite screenwriters out there right now, Max Landis, he originally wrote a Power Rangers script that was bought by Saban, and they're supposed to use his, and then they decided not to. Yeah.
They scrapped it. They went with a different script, and his script is out there. I haven't read it yet, but from what I hear, it's amazing.
Now that I know, I want to look for it.
I hear it's amazing, and I'm curious to read it and see if how it would change my thoughts on.
But my gripe is
it was a lot lighter tone though, apparently, I like the darker tone of this.
But it doesn't take a lot of effort to not, for a movie at least, because they have control of that dialogue. I would say try a little harder. I mean, if it's when you the guys, hey guys thing, that's just one gripe I've always had. Any kind of media, any kind of scripting, it's just a really lazy way of initiating dialogue, I think. Or at least directing attention.
Yeah, and I mean, these are all fairly unknown kid actors, so I doubt that they gave them really any freedom or anything. But
yeah, so Okay, moving on. Here's a good one. Let's see if you like this. Number 15. Rita invades Trini's bedroom, slams her against every wall. 2 parents, 2 siblings. No one wakes up or notices home invasion for how long that scene was.
Yeah, you got me there. I mean, that is another just Okay, nobody heard shit.
I'll just move on.
Or is that them trying to reinforce that Trini's parents really don't give a shit about her?
Could be.
I mean, Bob, did you hear something? What?
She's probably just having sex. Or whatever.
Lesbian sex.
They're probably just smushing tacos, whatever they do. Kind of. Okay, moving on. Number 16. This is just sort of speculative. This is me. This is my analytical brain after the scene has ended. Kind of what I'm thinking afterwards. So, number 16. Anybody know what we should do with this giant ass crystal where the Krispy Kreme used to be? Anybody? I mean, it's there. It's still there. They didn't do anything with it, to my knowledge.
Do you have another tweet about the Krispy Kreme?
Do.
Okay, because I do want to get into that.
So you got anything on that?
For that one,
I mean, it was there. It was out in the open. What are they supposed to do with it? And does the government have it now? Like, that is the Zeo crystal, the source of all life on Earth.
I think that would. I think that could be an interesting plot point for the sequel.
I suppose
if the government and the military gets involved against the Power Rangers, that could be fucking cool.
Yeah. So moving on, same idea. This is post-scene speculative on my part. Number 17, Power Rangers win. Angel Grove citizens arrive en masse to take photos and videos. Did the Megazord just walk away and nobody followed it? Question mark.
Yeah, especially
they could have followed it,
and it's also tricky because it's modern day times. It's like, did anybody take their cameras out and record any of that? Well, I think that could be an interesting plot point for next.
Here's another thing.
As well.
Here's another thing that I would say is that it's not. I don't have a tweet on this, but at some point they presented the code of being a Power Ranger, like the 3 rules, I guess. If they have photos and videos out, those capsules on the Megazord are completely open. They're
and they had their
masks are off. So,
they didn't have the full
how do you break
helmet off.
How do you break that rule? Is it immediately when someone sees your face? Is that it? Or do you have to knowingly tell someone? Was that a rule from the original show?
They said no. Those are the exact same 3 rules to being a ranger from the TV show.
Okay,
exactly.
Because I'm confused at whether or not is it if someone.
I guess it's you just can't tell people because people can see things all they want, but they don't know what it is or how to explain it. I guess.
Okay.
All right, hit me with the next one.
All right, we're on number 18. 18 is Zordon can clearly manipulate time and space, project visuals, but can't explain why Power Rangers can't morph to them in a more decent fashion. And also, no one actually explains how Billy did morph. Because all he did was break up a fight. There was no actual explanation that could have helped them understand better. He just did it.
Yes. To that part, yes. They never did explain that because the way he made it out to seem was that the first time they morph, it would all be at the same time.
Not saying that they strictly have to explain it, but they should have conveyed it in some way, and they didn't.
They could have said that Billy tapped into it in some fashion, but as far as Zordon not being able to help them, I don't know. I mean, this could be another gripe because they don't say it, but I don't know. Maybe it's just a Power Ranger thing that they have to figure it out on their own.
That's agreeable. Here's one thing though. One thing that I didn't tweet after thinking about the whole Billy morphed and no one can explain it. Why the fuck is Zordon asking him to do it again? Because he didn't see it. Zordon has been asleep for 15 million years and he's not going to be paying attention to the people in his basement. What the fuck is up with that? Do it again. Show me.
What they did with Zordon was really weird.
I'm sad that they put Cranston in that position. They made him seem like more of a benevolent jerk than anything. Yeah,
they made him Oz, but even a more asshole version of Oz.
Which can I say, the saving Billy thing? This is also not a tweet, but Em agrees. The saving Billy thing was the shittiest part of that whole movie. Just Zordon, now's your chance. Come through. Come back alive. No, Billy must live. Okay, what did you do? You didn't.
Like I said, that fake out death was done very lazily.
Because we know.
Obviously, we've seen trailers of Billy and his
Billy
Zord,
kicking shit,
and Billy kicking shit in his suit. Yeah, that was pointless.
So I think Zordon was the worst character out of everybody.
Zordon was the worst. I mean, okay, I won't say he kind of was.
Movie wise, he was the worst. I'm not saying like in the same vein where someone would say like Alpha 5 was annoying. Like that's not in the same vein as that.
I think they could have used Alpha 5 even a little bit more. I thought he was really funny.
Well, I'm saying that my gripe is not that like my gripe is in actual terms of
it's
presenting
more as a character
presenting Bryan Cranston as Zordon. They just missed the mark so much.
I think so. I think it was a very and then like him being a dick to Jason, just being like, you're not the real Red Ranger. I'm the real Red Ranger.
Yeah. So
I was just like, God damn, Zordon, like chill, man.
Number 9 falls into the category of too much information being given at once and me just being confused with the movie as a movie watcher. In all caps, number 19. What the fuck is the morphing matrix and why does it even matter? Why does it matter? They say this word morphing matrix. They to be fair, morph and power are thrown around so much in that movie. If you're not a Power Rangers fan, they mention it once. But if they can morph anywhere at any time where they want, like Billy breaking up the fight, them standing around the circle, I guess it's just for dramatics, I guess.
It's for dramatics. It's to reinforce they need to become a team thing. And it still plays into why did Billy morph on his own. Mm-hmm. But the morph matrix, from what I understand, I kind of associate it like with the Speed Force. Mm-hmm. It's the
intangible,
the intangible energy that they tap into. Mm-hmm. So they have to, and from the way they make it sound is that they all have to be like attached, together emotionally as a team to be able to access the power of the matrix.
What happened to the coins?
They always had the coins on them.
Okay.
The coins stay on them.
It seemed like they needed to do something with the coins.
No, the coins are like...
Were they supposed to just guide them back to the...
The coins are like, they do that classic thing that in the movie, one of them threw their coin away and then they woke up and it was like next to them again, like that classic thing.
Right, but aside from that, what was the purpose of the coin? I know for them to signify their power, because by complete chance they found the spaceship. They didn't guide them back to it. They kind of just jumped in the chasm.
They jumped in the chasm. Yeah.
So... number 20, moving on. We're powering through. You're on your second beer, so Angel Grove is presumably put under state of emergency / evacuation, but Saturday morning detention continues like normal.
Yeah. Angel Grove are dicks to their high school students. They don't give a shit about the detention kids. They said, fuck them.
Yeah, there's no real discussion
fend for yourself.
It's just like it's like nothing happened.
That's just dickhead adults.
Okay, moving on. So we're getting into Red Ranger territory here, I think. 21. What charges involved with stealing a cow and crashing a truck put you under house arrest with an ankle bracelet?
I mean, theft. You have evading arrest or resisting arrest, evading police. Mm-hmm. You have destruction of property.
Okay.
You have... So I feel like just because it's a list of small things...
That's more so not a gripe, just a question.
Kinda. I think it's just because it's a list of small things instead of charging them with like juvie time. There's like, here, do some house arrest.
Well, I mean, ankle bracelet and detention.
Yeah, because schools are overkill like that. Schools would say, you're not getting enough...
just be suspended?
I guess, yes. Well... It depends.
Yeah. Okay.
Some schools like because I went to in my school, being suspended, you weren't suspended. You still came to school. You just went to our suspension. Our ISS was detention.
Yeah.
But then we still had detention also.
Gotcha.
So that just depends on your school.
Mm-hmm. Okay. 22. How should we open a nostalgic reboot? ? Let's make a joke about masturbating a cow. Don't forget to shine a flashlight on his dick.
I thought that established the humor really well.
That was me being a snarky dick right there.
I think that established the humor pretty well. I laughed. It's real stupid, but and then I had to use two hands, and then I was like, why would you do that? But then again, that just kind of begs the question of the original guy that discovered that we got milk from cows. What the fuck was that guy doing?
I think the question for that one is, what was that movie rated? Was it PG-13?
It was PG-13.
Does that fall under PG-13?
It's a hard PG-13.
That innuendo is...
I will say, in PG-13, you can make all the innuendos you want.
As long as you don't specifically say fuck,
shit.
you know?
Shrek is king of that.
Yeah.
Like, Shrek pulled off the PG innuendos. I mean, you can make all the innuendos you want in PG-13, as long as, you can't show or make direct reference.
Yeah. Okay, here's my big one. As a moviegoer with expectations about a movie, with slight expectations, here's what the biggest gripe, and we already talked about this, where it kind of failed the most. Number 23. Did you enjoy the only 2.5 minutes of the Power Rangers fighting like the Power Rangers? Me too. Literally, them actually fighting putties, doing karate moves that all the kids ever did when they were in school. This is the one gripe I can make as a Power Rangers fan. Almost less than 2 minutes. It was just that one short fight on top of the mountain. That was it.
So... this is where I agreed with you that the actual Power Rangers part of the film, the Zords, the costumes, was not very good.
No.
And I will give the edge to Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, first fight scene, we get them, just them, no suits, but they're still fighting monsters and shit.
Well, they didn't even do that. They practiced on holograms and they trained, but there was no
they did have that
antagonizing fight. Well, there was Rita. They did fight Rita for like 30 seconds, but that was it. There was no we're learning how to fight against these putties kind of thing, like them actually attacking them. It was in a safe environment. So
true, I will give that. But yeah, in the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, you get the dope fight scene at the construction yard out of suits.
Oh, I love it.
That's a great scene.
And they burst into goop.
That's a great scene. And then they go to that planet. Then they get their ninja costumes, and we get fighting their ninja costumes.
Yeah.
Cool. And then we get the epic fight of them actually in their costumes. That was a dope fight scene as well. So they, in the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, you still didn't get a whole lot of action. I mean, you get more action than you do in this one. But at the same time, they spread it out a lot more too.
But that's my big gripe with the idea of that. If they wanted to do that, let's go back to that. One of the first tweets I did, the 2 hours and 4 minutes to establish characters. Why not call it the birth of the Power Rangers or some kind of? If it's just gonna be Power Rangers, that is kind of a letdown when you're expecting the fighting and the suits and the Zords.
At the same time, though, I really did that. I like the character stuff. I did. I mean, even if they didn't all have the best growth and stuff, the actors all did, especially even Zach and Trini, the actors with what they were given. Still, all the actors were very solid, I think. Especially Jason and Billy in particular, I think were absolutely fantastic. So, I mean, I didn't mind it. I like that it did have these shades of Chronicle in it as well, but obviously I could have used some more action.
I could have used way more action.
I think they could have done it in certain scenes, like when they were split off. There's the scene where Kim and Trini are in a coffee shop or whatever. What if some shit broke out in there and there was a fight scene?
It was like a missed opportunity.
They could have spread some fight scenes out in there, I think.
I mean, maybe they had a lower budget and they just couldn't afford to break shit.
There's also that.
Yeah. 24. I like how the putties already knew where the Power Rangers' lair was. Did I mention Rita and Zordon never actually interact in this movie? Yeah, that's a thing.
Yeah, that's a letdown.
I understand.
You definitely want to get that reaction
in the flashback. Yeah, but in the actual movie, they don't ever meet again. There's no closure between the two of them.
They should have given us that classic, Rita shows up at the lair and trashes the place and almost kills Zordon.
But the putties
they could have gave us that.
They just magically start running towards the lair like they knew where it was. It's just that's another gripe I have in the next couple tweets that just don't make sense to me.
No, that one I can't really fight too much.
Here's the one. 25, your Krispy Kreme thing. Number 25. Rita can apparently do anything, but her entire purpose in this movie was walking from the fishing dock to Krispy Kreme.
Well, okay, they never really gave us too much examples of what her powers could do. As far as I'm concerned, she kills people for gold. She screams. She can bang shit with her staff, and she can make shit explode.
Mm-hmm.
That's about all I really see. So I mean, I wouldn't go as far as saying that she can do almost anything. I mean, she doesn't really do a whole lot. But no, that is her general plan, is to wreak havoc on her way to Krispy Kreme.
When I say do anything, I mean in terms of the movie, the scope of knowledge and what she's capable of.
Okay.
The next tweet's going to highlight this a little bit better because I'm reiterating. So in 25, I say Rita can do anything in sort of very calm, subtle text. But in 26, it's all caps, in which I say Rita can apparently do anything, knows who the Power Rangers are, and doesn't kill them. They're weak. They can't morph. She still doesn't kill them.
Because
she knows who they are.
She's just in for the
she
thrill.
She already knows who they are. Which by the way,
she's in it for the thrill.
Which, by the way, here's my curious thing about the movie: is Zordon in his exposition says, "Oh, Rita Repulsa, she's an evil. She was a Power Ranger. She wanted more power." But she's collecting gold to make Goldar. Okay, the Power Rangers are carrying around the coins that literally give them their powers. Why did she not try to steal those from them? Why did she not try to steal Trini's coin to get more power? She would have had more power.
And
she has her own coin.
Her own coin too,
because she's technically the Green Ranger. Why didn't she go after the coins? Did she even know they existed? She knows who the Power Rangers are. She literally knew who the 5 Power Rangers were before she did anything.
Again, I think, and that could be, that could be lazy writing, is they just chalk it up to, hey, she's crazy.
Yeah.
She wants some more of a challenge. She doesn't want it to be easy. Ha ha, because she's so crazy. Ha ha.
Yeah, probably. Here's another one, 27, and this is more of a question, not a gripe, but I'm just like, it's in what the information this movie has given me, what I'm working with. Number 27, anybody know why Rita having this crystal is bad? Like, I understand it has the power to kill on life on Earth, but where is she gonna go? Into space? Question mark.
What, you mean, like, is she gonna go into space and then
Zordon apparently says that once she gets the crystal, she's gonna wipe out all life on Earth. Like, is that what she's gonna do? What's she gonna do with it once she's done? Does that mean it's gonna wipe her out too? Because she is a living thing.
No. Yeah. I think she'll wipe out Earth, whatever that entails, if she flies up into space and just zaps it with her cane she flies away. I don't know.
I was kind of perturbed because they gave us this magical MacGuffin stone and didn't really explain how bad it was going to be. Or
MacGuffin stone.
Yeah, pretty much that's what it was. The Zeo crystal. It's like, that's a pretty important thing they just left out in the open, I think. We're winding down. We're so close. These next 2 tweets are in line. 28.
Okay.
I mean, she did go into space at the end and everything, but we clearly see the outcome of that. She gets frozen in space, right?
Okay, so that's true. Yeah,
Rita Repulsa got straight up team rocketed at the end of.
She did get team rocketed.
Yeah, so
the Mighty Morphin Power Ranger episode ended in Ivan Ooze getting kicked into space, getting kicked in the balls.
He got kicked in the balls and then he blew up.
And that was the secret button, too.
That was Trini's secret emergency button. We still need to talk about that movie when we're done with this.
We'll highlight that movie for sure, because that's one of the most ridiculous things ever.
29 is sort of just me just shouting into the ether and hoping someone listens in all caps. Can we talk about how stupid the slapping her into space thing is? That's how the movie ends. That's how the fight ends. What can I say, though, that with all the amazing dialogue they could have given Elizabeth Banks, the magical 5 words that she said in that entire fight were, push them into the pit. That's all she said.
I will say I'm okay with the smack, because the one in the detention room, that's probably it's at least in my top 3 favorite scenes of that movie. That scene got and that's whenever I was on board with Jason. Doesn't know who the fuck Billy is, walks in detention. He's in there for fucking 10 minutes.
10 seconds.
10 seconds. This movie's been on for 10 minutes, rather. Just walks in, defends Billy, smacks the shit out of this dude.
Did you just slap me?
He really smacked the shit out of this dude, and I went, fuck yeah. I was like, damn, Jason is woke as fuck.
I will say I did appreciate that too.
And then I appreciate the callback. I was okay with the callback,
but
honestly.
Just the idea of watching Rita Repulsa fly through space and
smacking
the clouds.
a woman into space.
Well, just that.
Why hasn't anybody said anything about that? They smacked a woman into space.
But I'm sorry, it's 2017, and you just watch that scene of her flying through the air going into space. It's just like,
it is also
that is borderline too campy for me.
It's also 2017. Anyone can get smacked in the face.
To be fair,
equality, you know, all that good shit. But
okay.
no, I
Number 30 is a extremely disappointingly missed opportunity on my part. I really think. I think you might agree. And this is coming from a Power Rangers fan, from the fan side. Number 30. People literally watched the original show to see the Megazord combine 5 machines into one. Movie does so secretly because that would be hard to do. You don't actually see them.
We see it when they turn into the car version, when they're still on wheels. We get to see that part.
The car version.
Like, you know, like there's the preliminary combining of the Zords where they're like still on wheels, and then the Megazord stands up and's like, "Yo, I'm here."
Well, I mean, like they combined them.
They gave they still didn't.
No, because they didn't do anything because they held a line. They held a line together while Goldar was pushing them into the pit. They didn't combine visually at all.
Didn't they? They got pushed.
They got pushed into the pit, and then in the fiery pit, everything just came together, and this fucking piece of shit transformer came out, I guess.
Okay, would you have enjoyed it more if you got to see a scene of the Zords combining, but it looked like shit? Would you have rather had that or just whatever, they're combined now?
Well, I don't know. It's kind of
because I mean, honestly, well,
I'm not saying it's shit for being shit.
It would have been a tricky scene.
Well, I know it's a tricky scene. I don't care if it was shit. I'm saying it's a missed opportunity because that's the whole point. There's no point to having 5 different robots that combine into one if you're not going to show them combining into one. They could have just had a single robot that they all piloted together.
Okay. I see. That makes a.
But that's what I mean. It's a missed opportunity because that's what people love so much about it. It is the literal manifestation of teamwork, and they did it secretly.
True. Okay.
Yeah.
I will give you that one.
Because I mean, you see it you can't miss it. Every single episode of the television show.
Go Power Rangers!
And that's the thing. That's the huge letdown. They played the fucking theme song for everyone during that point, yet they didn't show the Zords transforming. You saw that shit every episode. No matter what.
It came out of nowhere. The song literally came out of nowhere. I did not see that coming.
I appreciated it, though.
I appreciated it. I did not see it coming, though.
Okay, we got 3 left. Are you ready?
All right.
All right, here we go. I think these are some good ones. They're not the best, but they're thought-provoking. Okay.
All right, let's get it.
31. Billy is supposedly a technological genius, yet he is the only one who can't figure out his Zord after becoming a Power Ranger.
So, my problem with not being able to...
That was cliche, the whole, my Zord's going backwards thing.
That's cliche, but another
of
thing...
all people.
What I really... And not even that. What bothered me about that was, so they made it a point, so when they got their Zords, they get in the seat. A Matrix thing hooks up into their spine, and then they get joysticks. Mm-hmm. So that's the assumption that you're controlling the Zords with your mind.
You can't avatar it up. They avatared it. That's what it was.
How can you fuck it up?
I don't know.
If you're attached to it,
that makes sense.
If you're attached to it, then the Zord's gonna do whatever you want it to do.
That makes sense with Zack riding the Mastodon for the first time. It does. Yeah.
And it's been so long. We had some tech issues here for a sec, so I'm just going to have a lazy pickup here because I kind of forgot where. All I know is we have 2 more tweets left on Jason's Twitter list here.
Yeah, 3 officially.
Officially.
We'll go back to 1. It sucks. We had technical difficulties. This tweet specifically.
So we're just going to go back through this tweet.
Yeah. But here's the thing. During that time, I actually found an argument for my own argument, which, Devon here came up for me. But here's 31. Billy is a technological genius, yet he's the only one who can't figure out his Zord after becoming a Power Ranger. So that iconic scene where they're all running to the theme song, Billy's Zord is running backwards, and he's like, "Oh, my Zord's running backwards." You pointed out, which I completely forgot, that there's a thing that the Zords do, which I would either attribute it to they didn't explain it very well, or it happened so fast you can't remember it. That these things shoot out of the Zords and they clip to your spinal cord or some shit, and it's supposed to read your mind or something like that. The backwards Triceratops could attribute to Billy not being, a normal.
Oh,
he's not part of the normal herd.
Okay,
so but to be fair,
that makes sense. But they did not explain that. Because it didn't make sense. So it matrixed them, it hooked them in through their spinal cord, but then they also got joysticks.
Right.
Why do you need both to do both of those things? And then, like you said, another thing that you kind of brought off, when before the difficulties happened was, so with Zach, it would have made sense during the joyride that he wouldn't know how to control it because he was in a suit, so it didn't hook him up. Yeah. But then if that's the case, then when they do have their suits and they have their Zords, they should be working everything perfectly by this point. And like I said, they didn't need to have more of them figuring shit out and them not doing things the way that, we've had an hour and 30 minutes of them not being good at doing this shit. If you're going to just give us only 20 minutes of Power Rangers, have them kicking ass.
That should be the apex of the here's everything we've learned, not we still don't know anything and we're just winging it.
So, but okay, but the that is interesting with the Billy being on the spectrum, but at the same time, we've established that, and they did such a good job with it too. We have that well established. That's done. So if that is the case, then it didn't need to happen. But also, they just didn't really explain it enough. Yeah.
Here's one. This is my favorite one because it is the most glaringly obvious one, and it ties into the whether you like the suits or not. I don't know if you did or if you have a what's your take on the suits?
I like the suits, but at the same time, they lack color.
I wish it was more like
they should have been solid colors. That's a theme. That's something that is a stupid thing that shouldn't have bothered me in the movie. Is even their normal clothes, they're supposed to be blatantly monochromatic, color coordinated, and some of them they're very late. Zach doesn't wear black half the time. Yeah, he wears a white T-shirt most of the time.
He had a black jacket
and a black jacket, and then literally the lettering on Jason's shirt is red. Not even So
this is gonna make you sad. Then number 32. I'm assuming Jason just wore that ankle bracelet through the whole movie. Yeah. In the Ranger outfit too, because he's, under house arrest.
Yeah.
Was there any bulge on his ankle?
That would have been very uncomfortable.
Denoting
That would have been very uncomfortable, but
I mean, the movie just kind of left it be, dropped it off after Billy did whatever he did, Which, by the way, that's kind of bullshit if you're going to make an ankle bracelet that has an SD card that comes out of it for anyone to tinker with. That's some pretty bullshit stuff right there. Pretty bullshit plot device.
That's Bush League house arrest people. That's Bush League work there. I'll agree there. And they also, with the suits, they make them seem like they're of this organic material, but at the same time, they're still metal suits. What are they? Because
they have the mask, but they can see through them. So what's the point of covering their faces? They have the mask,
they can see through them. It literally just forms from inside of them.
Which that's them making true on the Mighty Morphin
part. Which is fine, but then don't make them seem like they're in metal Iron Man suits. Then make it some sort of weird,
they got it
organic suit.
I was going to say, they got it perfect. The one thing they nailed out of the park was the suits in the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie, the first one that came out, which they were kind of modern adaptations of the Japanese suits. They were they were shiny. They looked like they were suits of armor, It's just,
which made sense because it was an evolution of their suits,
and they weren't form fitting either. That's the dumb part about I think the fact that it was wearing Under Armour.
See, again, I would have been okay with it if it was some sort of organic material. If it was just a cover up on them, but still enhance them. What if they would have made these suits really alien? What if their suits were alive? That could have been something. There's a fucking movie. I'm pretty sure it's Star Kid. Have you seen the movie Star Kid? Jason, you would love this movie. It's so fucking weird, but awesome at the same time. This kid finds an alien suit, but the suit is alive.
No, I have seen that movie.
that's a weird ass
because there's
movie.
a fucking scene where the
He's
robot
trying to eat
chews a hamburger for him and dispenses it in a ball into his mouth. Yeah.
That movie is so fucking weird.
That's the only thing I remember from the movie is that one scene where he eats the hamburger for him.
It's a weird ass movie, but I remember I used to love it. But they could have went something like that. Like, what if the Power Ranger suits would have been sentient in some fashion and been more organic? Like really capitalize on the alien aspect of it.
I think if they had kept the same idea that the suit forms around them, but they tried to make it just the way it looked,
and like I said, there's just not enough color on the suits. Like the blue and the black one are very hard to. There's more purple on the suits, like the glowing purple on the underneath of it. There's more of that than their actual colors on the suits, and that bothered the hell out of me.
I completely understand that in cinematography, when you want to have a dark tone of movie, your color shade is going to be dark toned as well, and I get that in a sense.
I mean, it's kind of like the same argument that people use when they complain about the X-Men movies not using their original costumes because they're like, well, that would have looked weird. But this is like Power Rangers. What they're known for is these colors, these monochromatic color schemes. Well, that's what they're known for.
It's so funny because they literally, Zordon's like, you are the Red Ranger. It's like, no, I'm more like the the sort of maroon, darkish Ranger.
I'm the gray shirt with red writing.
Ranger. All right, we're down to the last one. This is just another attribute. This is attributes to lazy writing, I think. At number 33. I guess Rita is just sopping wet all the time. Both sneak entrances involve dropping from the ceiling via leaked water. Is she spitting on people? Both times that she entered menacingly in the exact same fashion. She invades Trini's bedroom and then
it drops from the ceiling,
drops water on her. At the dock when the homeless guy is tied up, which by the way, still don't know who the fuck that homeless guy is and why he had to be there. I guess he served to drop water on him when she dived from the ceiling on that one too. You think Trini would be expecting that the second time around? You're not kidding when they don't learn shit in this movie.
Yeah. Rita and Samara from The Ring would have been real good friends as far as dripping fucking water all the time. And with Rita, and I think they like really made her very exaggerated and like gave her this like weird like monster type creature vibe because people were complaining when the first like posters came out, like Elizabeth Banks was still hot. Like she was still hot and everybody's like, I shouldn't be turned on by Rita Repulsa. Her last name is literally Repulsa.
That's bullshit. And
people are like, she shouldn't be hot. So then I think they grossed her up a bit.
It's a campy name. I don't even think she was supposed to be gross in the first place. It's just a campy name.
No, I think so
like
too.
She didn't even look gross in the original cartoon.
So they grossed her up a bit. They made her wet. They gave her the gold teeth.
Yeah.
She wasn't even.
Did she have dreadlocks?
She wasn't even in her. She had like some wet dreadlocks. Ew, what's worse than dreadlocks? Wet dreadlocks.
Yeah.
And then they'd never even show her as her like regular form until the end. So I think they did that on purpose because, like I said, like that was like a big thing when the art came out. They're like, Elizabeth Banks is too hot still. I mean, Elizabeth Banks is pretty hot.
Yeah.
But but no, that's a very dripping from the ceiling.
It was just so lazy, and
it's such a weird entrance to make.
I would have forgiven it if it didn't happen in succession. It happened literally after she already did it.
Something just dripped on me. I bet it's Rita.
Yeah.
Oh, shocker! Look, it is Rita.
I don't know. I'd say in the end, after that list, I have plenty more that I haven't published yet.
And I think we were pretty split. Like, I mean, I could, because what the whole discussion is like, how much of a pass do you give this movie because it's Power Rangers?
Right.
How much do you just give into your nostalgia, give into being a fan of the movie, and having low expectations of it. How far do you go in it? And of your list, I mean, surprisingly enough, like I did give you a good half of them. I'd say that's still a pretty admirable, because I mean, this movie is, like I said, it's a hot mess. It's a very flawed movie.
That's what I mean with the list. Like most of it is from a continuity, just a movie standpoint. It could have been anything else. It could have been It could have been the Avengers movie, and I would have still had the same gripes about it because it's just. Yeah. That's what I mean. Like, I appreciate the attempt because it's Power Rangers, and they're not ashamed that it's a Power Rangers movie. But it's the Power Rangers part itself becomes here's what I realized when I told Em about it. This movie can't decide what it wants to be. It can't decide in the tone and the way it's presenting. It can't decide if it wants to be a reboot that falls on the back of nostalgia and people who already understand it, or if they want it to be some of this open arm newcomers. Hey, you can enjoy this movie even if you haven't seen Power Rangers.
The fan service.
But they offer so many. Here's the thing. It hits you so fast. Like, the thing is that they try to set it up like, well, we're going to show you who the Power Rangers are. But all this other important shit that's very pertinent to Power Rangers, like literally, we're going to comb over that so quickly, assuming you already know about it, that it's not going to matter in the long run. Like, here are these Zords that are just chilling. Here's the Morphin Grid. Oh, these coins? Don't worry about that. Zorda and Redon, no interaction. Zorda and Redon. Rita and Zordon. No interaction between the two of them. The fight scene at the end, not showing the Zords combining together, not explaining any of that stuff. It's just, they couldn't decide whether they wanted to be open to everyone,
I think that's where Hollywood comes in, when it comes to the filmmaking process, the decisions that studios make when it comes to making movies. That's something I've really learned about in the past 2 years or so, about what goes on behind the scenes. So I think they were trying to walk the line, and there's at times when you can walk the line. I will say an example of this is Star Wars The Force Awakens. They had to walk the line of giving a movie that the original fans are going to appreciate and they're going to love, but then bringing Star Wars to a new audience. And, they played it safe, but I think they pulled it off, though. They walked that line. Power Rangers, not so much. The execution, I would say that they were a little bit confused on who they were. I still say that at its core, this movie is for Power Ranger fans.
Oh, for sure, because
at its core, it really is. The fan service was great. The cameos.
It's a really good experiment, though. But
like I said, I think it was an ambitious homage. It was an ambitious homage to the original Power Rangers, I'd say, is the best way I can describe this.
I think it was an honest attempt, but at the same time, it fell victim to all of those modern movie tropes. They're just so fucking annoying. It's just like, I get it, angsty teens, sure, but that's what I meant with the whole 2 whole fucking hours of that, and then maybe 10-15 minutes of the Power Rangers.
And it's kind of, how the whole conversation got started. I was talking to you about the movie Life, and what I said is you can have cliches in a movie, you can have predictability in a movie, but it all comes down to the execution. If you can make the cliche work, then who cares? Then it's then it's just another part of the story at that point. It's all about the execution. So, and Power Rangers did not quite stick the landing. And like I said, the more you talk about this movie out loud, the more you start to not enjoy it. But at the same time, I love the characters a lot. I still had a good amount of fun with this movie.
Well, I'm gonna go to each of you fuckers one by one, and I'm gonna run down this list because I have another friend in Texas, Alejandro. He is a diehard Power Rangers fan, and we've been talking over Twitter. And like when I put the tweet out, he was the first one to be like, "You're wrong. You're wrong. It's a fantastic movie. Power Rangers fans should go see it." It's like, yeah, I understand where you're coming from. Power Rangers fans should go see it because the title is Power Rangers. Right, but you cannot tell me objectively that was a quote unquote good movie when you go see it.
You can't use that as a crutch.
Yeah, you can't. You can't say just because
you still have to be able to come through. You still have to be able to produce.
My problem was when I made the list is just the people who they do that thing where they have to set you up. They do that thing where it's like, I went in not thinking it was going to be good, but oh my God, you guys, it's amazing. It's like, it's not amazing.
It wasn't even that. Like, I went in, I was like, okay, I expect something fun. I expect something campy. I expect something for the fans.
It's like, you are just...
I expect Power Rangers. And then I came out and I go, that was, for the most part, what I expected. But it, like I said, it did surprise me in the fact that so the writing is iffy. At the same, but I think the production level is solid. Aside from the Zords, I think the Zords are the biggest production flaw. But I mean, like I said, I think the cinematography was cool. I think the music was really good. I enjoyed those aspects of it, and
the music was one thing. I will say, since I'm a music guy and I can make the argument, I think the one really powerful moment they were trying to go for with the whole like Apollo walking scene, the music did not fit that moment.
Yeah.
When you go back and you think about them walking up in the suits, like we've done it, and there's supposed to be music reflecting it, like. I was not in it.
See, but on the other end, again, I go back to the scene that I was describing earlier, the one where they're in the water, the slow motion, like this cool camera. There's a really cool score for that scene.
Oh, yeah.
And it's really serene, and like it felt just... that scene works for me so well.
Here's like, what's crazy to me. Like, I feel like with what we've been talking about, I would have enjoyed that movie if they had cut an hour maybe an hour or so of all that exposition in the
They probably could have cut this movie to an hour and 20 minutes if they really wanted to.
You could have cut a lot of that exposition out and it still would have been good. Hell, here's the funny thing. You probably could have made that like a 30-minute, kind of like if they took that movie and turned it into like a TV series that was only 30 minutes long in bites and not had so much exposition, but maybe evened out 15 minutes of story, 15 minutes of Power Ranger fighting, that would be nuts if they did that.
Did you see the gritty short film?
Oh, I saw that one, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean...
Zach snorting cocaine.
I loved it.
Didn't they have the original Rangers on there? Because they shut that shit down pretty quick.
One of the original Rangers was involved in it, yeah. But we won't get into all that stuff. But that was real cool. So to go ahead and close out our Power Rangers discussion and close out this episode is we end every Deezus Take the Reel with story time. And so you mentioned you're able to go into the movies without being nostalgia blinded.
I don't have rose-tinted glasses, man.
You don't, and that's fine. But, just for the sake of the episode, for the sake of talking Power Rangers, I want to hear just a story that you are nostalgic about. Just something that something you look back at. I have a story prepared already, so I'll tell mine first, and then that'll give you a sec to think of it. But just something that you're nostalgic about. And... mine comes down to, so like I said, I watched Power Rangers for perhaps too long.
Mm-hmm.
I watched it for a minute, and I was the kid. I had the toys. I mean, we played. This was when kids still went outside, and we did shit in the open, in the air with other human being kids. The good old days. And so we did that, and I literally watched Power Rangers like up through 4th grade, I'd say. I watched it for a long time. But another thing that I perhaps enjoyed for too long as well, and I got reminded of this the other day because I went home for a couple days and I had all 3 of my sisters. We were all of us were together, which doesn't get to happen often because one of my sisters lives in Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
So we're reminiscing all the good days. Fucking Chuck E. Cheese. Chuck E. Cheese. Jason's shaking his head right now. I'm intrigued to see his thoughts on Chuck E. Cheese.
You said those words. I'm like, God damn it.
Our my childhood is comprised of trips to the barbershop, trips to the movies, and trips to Chuck E. Cheese. Those were the golden days. And I had a love-hate relationship with Chuck E. Cheese because I loved going to Chuck E. Cheese. I was terrified of him, though. Mm-hmm. Like the dude walking around in the suit.
Yeah.
I'd watch the robots because even as a little kid, I understood those are robots. There's not a person in there. As soon as there's a person in there, no. I had a birthday party. I think it was I have a really good memory because I'm pretty sure this was from my 4th. I was 4. And we had a birthday party at Chuck E. Cheese. Out of my first 12 birthday parties, or 12 birthdays, I'd say about 6 of them were spent at Chuck E. Cheese. I
wouldn't doubt it.
Not gonna lie. Lots of them were spent there. And I remember, so we do the cake and shit. We do the cake. Everybody sings happy birthday. They got the robot singing happy birthday. And then fucking We cut the cake. I blow out the candles. They're passing the cake around. We're eating cake. And then fucking out of nowhere, Chucky in the costume comes up behind me. He puts his hands on me, on like my shoulders, and I fucking look over my shoulders, and he's just like, and I took off running. I fucking left my cake behind.
Yeah.
I left the party behind. I flew up into the tunnels and shit. Nigga followed me. He's waiting down at the bottom of the slide for me. I'm like, and my dad is cracking up.
I would too.
My dad is losing his shit right now.
I would, yeah.
I'm at the top of the thing, and I have so I'm trying to get my dad's attention. I'm like, Dad, help me. And my dad is just cracking up and shaking his head. And he's like, no. He enjoyed it way too much. And oh my God. And I still remember that to this day. Like, like literally, I'm clutching onto the rope, like window of the tunnels, just like,
yeah.
Oh man. But Chuck E. Cheese though, like I said, I still went to Chuck E. Cheese, hence my sisters were all younger than me, so but at the same time, I still had the choice. I didn't have to go to Chuck E. Cheese until I was 12.
Yeah.
But I still did anyways. I didn't have to, but I did.
Yeah.
So did you come up with something that you're nostalgic about?
I've got two. I've got a really short one, and then I've got the actual one. Fun fact about Chuck E. Cheese though, do you know who made Chuck E. Cheese, right?
No.
The guy who made the game Pong, who founded Atari.
What?
The same guy who made Atari and Pong is the same guy who made Chuck E. Cheese.
Huh.
Yeah.
Well, that's a nice...
Nolan Bushnell.
What?
Nolan Bushnell. He's a cool dude.
Interesting.
Okay. My short one is a really funny one since we're on the topics of movies. So I'm kind of squeamish to gore. I can't help it. It's a reflex I have. I mean, I would watch horror movies. I can, but it's the actual gore violence. I have a gut reaction to that I can't watch. Like, I tried watching Shaun of the Dead when I was in high school. It's a hilarious fucking movie. But every time they got to one of the more graphic scenes, I just couldn't do it. My stomach couldn't do it. So I'd have to wait until the graphic stuff was done, and I'd go back and watch the humor in the movie. What I remember nostalgia-wise, I'll take your same effect. The fear factor was Men in Black. I remember for the longest time, and my family jokes with me about it all the time, is how I was scared of Men in Black.
I was scared of Men in Black
when I was a kid, and Men in Black, they had the scene where the cockroach alien Edgar, he comes down and he steals.
Played wonderfully by Vincent D'Onofrio.
Right. So
played fantastically.
Case in point, Farmer comes out to see the giant crater that the alien left, and he says something to the extent of, give me your truck and your clothes and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, you'd have to take it over my dead skin or something like that. And the alien's like, that can be arranged. And the alien grabs him by the head, drags him into the pit, or in some form or fashion, I barely remember. But as a kid, that shit scared the shit out of me.
That's a great scene.
That's
a great villain.
Because we went on a field trip to see this movie with other kids. We drove in a van to a theater to see it.
Oh, that's awesome.
I had to get out of the theater, and granted, people, this is the beginning of the movie, the very beginning. I sat and waited in that lobby for an hour and a half until the rest of the kids came out because I couldn't see it.
I still do an impression of the cockroach guy from the movie. I'm always like, more, sugar water.
So the nostalgia on that was going back and watching the movie again when I was older. I'm like, why the fuck was I scared of that? It's actually crappy CGI when you see it. Like, really dope.
I still like the original Men in Black.
So that's a short one. The one I want to talk about that I always remember nostalgia-wise is Space Jam. Because you know what the funny thing is, the Space Jam website was one of the first established websites on Netscape that you could go to when you surfed the internet back when it was just starting up in the 90s.
And it's still the same.
It's still the same to this day. You can go back onto it and you can play basketball and trivia and all the crappy Flash games on there too. But it was just, that was the ultimate nostalgia trip for me, because you watch Looney Tunes when you're a kid, right? Like you watch Looney Tunes so much that everyone remembers the cartoons the exact same way. They remember everything you can. And then when Space Jam came out, and it was the best of both worlds. It was everybody's favorite sports guy, Michael Jordan, and friggin' Looney Tunes, and you felt like you were there, and it was amazing. And the nostalgia I had as a kid seeing that movie was just overloaded, because it's just like, oh shit, it's the Looney Tunes like on the big screen with real people. It was great. But just the fact that website is still around and it's still up, and you can go back and you can just, it's just.
And Space Jam is still an enjoyable movie to watch. It does not hold up, though, as strongly, unfortunately.
And that's okay.
Yeah. Lola Bunny helped put Devon into puberty.
Lola Bunny was the start. Lola Bunny was how furries came to be. I'm pretty sure.
She was some. Well, I mean, I'd say Jessica Rabbit, and that is still like the four. Or maybe Jessica Rabbit is the godfather of furries, but Lola Bunny is like the Jesus.
Yeah, she's yeah,
for sure. Lola Bunny. Whoo. Yes, all this nostalgia.
Is that really how we're going to end the podcast?
That is exactly how we're going to end the podcast.
Thinking lewd thoughts about Lola Bunny.
Oh, you fucking know it. That's what I'm looking for. Like whenever I inevitably get married or whatever, and it's going to be a girl that has to be down with some cosplay, and we are 100% doing Bugs and Lola. 100%.
I was just about to say, have you seen people cosplaying Lola?
Yeah.
It's the easiest one you can do, but it's just like, damn, when it works.
Yeah. And my wife, my unknowing wife right now, she does not know, but we are cosplaying as Bugs and Lola from Space Jam specifically, though.
With the Toon Squad and all.
Yep, this Toon Squad jersey and all. But that's going to go ahead and do it for this episode of Deezus Take the Reel, guys. Thank you so much, Jason, for coming back on. Of course, we had to get another episode in because, Jason's moving. They're going to be gone here pretty soon. I mean, you guys still got a couple months. You're going to be back and forth and whatnot.
Oh, yeah.
This episode just, it had to happen because, one, I lost our other episode. And then, two, you got me going this morning. So
well, I've never seen a grown man pretty much plug his ears and go, no, and walk away.
I literally walked away. I go, what? I'm putting my other headphone back in, Jason. I can't hear what you're saying. This was great. Jason, where can the good people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at _JasonLord _. That's pretty much all I really need to plug at the moment. Most of my social media is pretty quiet now with the move, but I am working on a new show called This Controller Sucks, which is basically a show about bad controllers in video games. So if you want to know any more about that, just follow me on Twitter and you'll see everything.
Me and Em, we were talking because since John Mulaney is in Springfield the night of your guys' wedding.
Night of our wedding.
Because Kayleen bought her ticket. I almost did. I came really close until I realized the date, and then I was like, shit.
Well, she tried to tweet at him, and we want to start a campaign to get John Mulaney to notice us to come to our wedding.
I think we can make it happen. So me and Em were talking about going and seeing him in San Antonio, and then whenever I come down, and we will need to do This Controller Sucks video.
Yeah.
That's when we'll do it.
Oh, hell yeah.
And of course you guys can always find me on Twitter at Deezus12. Follow me on Instagram at Deezus.12. My Instagram, not gonna lie, is booming right now, guys. You should get on that. But of course, make sure you are sharing the show, guys. Spread the dope word, retweet, and all that good stuff. But until then, I will catch you guys later. The next couple of weeks, we have Casey Spivey. She is a writer and host for ScreenRant.com, so that'll be a interesting talk. I have an ongoing Twitter bit that I do with Screen Rant, and I'm intrigued to see how she takes it. She got all worried whenever I asked her to come on the show, and I was like, and she's like, "You don't make fun of Screen Rant, do you?" I was like, "Well, no," because I do watch Screen Rant videos. But I found something really funny. I'll tell you about it here in a minute. But I found something real funny. So she's going to be on the show. We got a good friend of the show, and Nolan Dean. He's got a couple podcasts coming up, so he's going to be on. We got the More Gooder podcast coming up as well. Horror author Tim Miller. We have comedian Jaron Myers coming. Like, we have so many fun guests. So make sure you are subscribed to Deezus Take the Reel to get all that good shit. So until next time, I will catch you later. Peace out, motherfuckers.
Did you know that the Black Ranger Zach, he's actually missing a finger on his right hand? Whenever he holds up his morphin thing, he's only got 4 fingers.
I've never noticed that. The black Zach?
The
Asian Zach?
No, the original Zach from the television sitcom. He's missing a finger.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, I don't know. And you can now, once you see it, you will never be able to unsee it.
I'm excited now. That's actually really funny. I'm gonna look at let me bring up the premiere picture real quick, because they do their little pose in the picture.
I'm almost fairly certain that the actor who played Zach from the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers is missing a finger on one of his hands.
Let me find it. Okay. You zoom in. Uh-oh. Hold on, I gotta save it so I can zoom in. Oh my goodness, this is gonna be great. Ah! Oh my god, he so is! He's missing the middle finger on his left hand. Oh my goodness. Look at it.
Yeah.
How did you know that?
I saw it. I think I saw. Well, no, it's because I remember really stupid small details about things. That's one skill that I'm really proud of, is when I see something, which is why I can watch a television show or a movie, and I don't have to see it like a second or a third time. I can just remember. And when I was a kid, you know, they every single time when they morph, what do? They hold up the things and they go, "It's morphin' time." Well, Zach only ever had.
Why did he use that one?
Yeah, he only ever had 3 fingers on the top of the damn thing every time he did it. I'm just like, that doesn't seem right. This is not.
Couldn't have everybody hold up their other finger. Why'd they have to make them put that one up?
So yeah,
They easily could have made it the other hand.
so that's a fun little tidbit.
That is super